This is Cable 18, the Cherry Hill Public Schools television station.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Cherry Hill West Gymnasium. We're bringing you Cherry Hill East versus Cherry Hill West Boys Gymnastics. I'm Mark Shankin, a freshman at Cherry Hill East. With me is Kenny Bear, a sophomore. With us tonight is Scott Drucker. He's not participating tonight because of an injury. And we now turn it over to Scott for his views on this evening's match.
Well, tonight's meet is going to be pretty good. East team is doing really well. Started off with a high of 110 this year. A couple of our members have been injured, so we're not up to full potential. But looks like it's going to be a good meet.
Scott, speaking about injuries, what is your injury tonight?
I injured my knee doing a dismount off parallel bars and had reconstructive surgery and re-injured it last week doing a dismount.
Do you think this will affect your gymnastics career in the future?
No, the ligament that I tore is like rebuilt, so it's pretty good.
That's good, Scott. I hope you feel better in the future. If not, we're enjoying you here in the broadcasting booth.
Thank you.
Our first event tonight seems to be the floor exercise. And Scott, is that a particularly strong event for East, the floor exercise?
The routines have really improved over the few months that we've been working out. Most of the guys are working out a lot, and the routines have improved since last year.
Another thing, Scott, Mark and I have been viewing last year's meet between these two teams, and the performances looked rather sloppy. Do you think they will improve this year?
Yeah, we have with us a member of Temple's gymnastics team, an All-American gymnast, Tara Scheckman, who's been working with us, and the team is really looking good. Up now is Evan Arano for East.
Starts off with a back flip.
First pass did an Arabian front.
Sets himself up in the far corner. Works his way towards the other corner.
One arm back handspring, very difficult skill.
A little stutter step on that last back handspring. Nice landing.
And the routine is over. Rather short routine, but executing very well.
That was a very good routine also, I think. And the team awaits anxiously for the scores.
Must be a problem. The judges are having a little conference right now.
You think this is due to a great performance or lack of greatness?
Well, usually the judges meet if there's a difference between 1 point or above. He might not have had enough difficulty, but the routine was performed nicely.
Of course, all scores run on a scale of 1 to 10, and on the floor exercises, you have to put your floor routine together with a series of 11 moves.
And the scores are 5-0 and a 5-5.
Average of 5.25.
Very nice routine.
Yes, indeed.
Lee Del Gambo up now for West. Lee's going to start in the far corner. Bows to the judges and prepares to start. He was a bit shaky on that first pass.
Yeah.
First pass was executed kind of roughly, but he got credit for the moves. Now he performs his skill, shows flexibility, which you must have in a routine.
Cuts across to the far corner and once again does a little bit of a slip. It's a bit shaky so far.
Yeah, he's in his corner now performing a balance scale,
Scott,
which every gymnast must have.
Do the teams tend to send out the less skilled, the worst gymnast first, and then build up to the best?
Yeah, it works on a scale of 1 to 5. 5 being the best, 1 being, I guess you could say, the not so skilled.
And what was your number?
I ranked 5th.
What?
Up now for East is Ari Goldstein. Will await the scores of Lee. The team was very nice, a little shaky here and there.
He had quite a few little stutter steps coming off of his passes. The scores for him are 1.8 and 2.0 for an average of 1.9.
Up now is Ari Goldstein from East. Ari is a freshman who moved here from Boston, working very well now.
He seems like a fan favorite.
Yes, he is. Very good. Nice first pass.
One step on that first pass. We'll live with that. He's now into the far corner.
Nice side pass. Performs a helix roll, which is a C move, very difficult.
And does another one.
Working very nicely.
We'll
Right.
explain the ABC moves just after this routine by Ari.
Now has set up for his press, which every gymnast must include within a routine.
And he looks like he's going to go in for his final pass now. He really landed that very well.
Now he sets up for his scale. Looks like he's going to do 4 within this routine. You're allowed to have up to 5 passes within a routine.
Just a little step back there, and that was a very good routine.
Very good routine.
The routines are based on you must have 11 moves, 1 C, 4 Bs, 6 Bs, excuse me, and 4 As. C being the hardest, A being the easiest move. Most of the routines in high school, the lesser gymnasts perform mostly A's and B's.
Yes, Scott, that's the point I was meaning to point out. That this is high school gymnastics, and most people, the gymnastics they watch are at the Olympic level. And for high school gymnastics, it seems to be a very interesting meet so far.
Yes. Looks like Nathan Hale is going to go up next for West.
We're waiting the scores for Ari Goldstein, and they are a 6-5 and a 5-7.
Oh, very good.
Looks like Ari scored and qualified
And Mark,
for
our
individual states
statistician,
today.
is figuring out the average now.
For an average of 6.1 for Ari Goldstein. That puts him in first place so far.
And he qualifies for individual states. Now it's Nathan Hale. He's ready to perform his first pass.
He really stuck that landing very well there.
Very nice. Forms a back roll to a back handspring.
Very solid so far.
He goes into a scale.
Puts a scale early in the routine. Usually you see him later so that you can rest before your last pass.
That'd make a lot of sense.
Front flip.
That was a very large back step, but only one. And a bit shaky there.
As he performs his split for flexibility now. Ooh, he holds a balance move, which is an LC on the floor. Very nicely done.
And he looks like he's setting up into the far corner for what could be his final pass.
Very nice routine. He put his hands down, so that will get 5/10 off, which could take him out of the running.
Overall, it's a pretty nice routine. Don't know if he's going to challenge Ari Goldstein for the lead. He's averaged 6.1 in his last routine, and that puts him in first place so far. We're waiting the scores. And they are a 5-2 and a 5-4 for an average of 5-3. Alex Franco now up for Cherry Hill East.
We have a little change in the broadcasters here. I'd like to welcome Adam Araton from West, who will be commentating along with myself, Kenny Bear, Mark Shankin, and Scott Trucker.
So far, his routine appears to be pretty solid.
Performs his scale now, his flexibility move.
Once again, he's performing it a bit early, but we'll live with that.
Performs some nice press.
He gets
out.
up into a handstand.
Nice front handspring. Sets up for his third pass. That's his Y scale, which is a very nice scale.
Pretty solid on that. Semi-solid. Somewhat solid. Front flip.
Performs a front flip for his dismount. Very unusual dismount. You don't see many front flips done for a dismount.
That was a very solid routine. And is he one of the more stronger gymnasts on the team, Scott?
Alex has been doing it for 4 years. He's gotten a lot better since he first started. He's going to be really good by the end of the year.
Did he make individual states yet or not?
I don't believe so. He works out in addition to the East team over at Gymnastics Academy with a few other gymnasts.
We're awaiting the scores, but first let's introduce Adam Ariton from Cherry Hill West.
Hello, as he said, I'm Adam Ariton. I've done the commentating for West for it's my third year this year, and I did the commentary last year. I guess I'll just like to tell you about what happened at last year's East-West meet. It was much closer than everyone expected. East did win by a small margin, and I think that West team has evolved over the years, and I think we should be looking at a good match tonight.
The judges just conferred once more over the scores, and we are now still awaiting the scores. And they are a 6-0 and a 6-5 for an average of 6.25.
Alex also
Very good
qualifies now
scores.
for individual states. Steve Calabrese is up now for West.
I was watching the tapes of last year's meet, and Calabrese was also on the team, and he had a pretty solid routine last year.
Bit sloppy there, but a very nice pass. Very nice pass there by Steve. His final pass.
Pretty solid routine. Gets a pretty good hand from what should be a partisan crowd here at the Cherry Hill West.
Up now for Cherry Lease is Mark Waldman, a senior who also works out at Gymnastics Academy.
We're awaiting the scores once more. And they should be coming up. And here they are. A 6-5 and a 6-0 for another average of 6.25.
Scott, this might be a little silly question, but do you think anyone on this East team now will have a chance at maybe the Olympics or some national competition? Or has it already happened already?
Well, most of the guys are just doing it through the high school, unless they try and pursue it into college. That was a very nice full by Mark. Performed to a Healy twirl. Most of the guys are just doing it for high school for fun.
Mark, of course, one of the co-captains of the team, and he also happens to teach some freshmen in the regular gym courses, including me, of course. And he's a very solid gymnast. I've seen him personally, and he is good at just about everything.
In spring fun, very nice to perform. Mark is one of those gymnasts who performs more of the difficult moves that you see.
There he does his scale.
I'd like to correct you there, Mark. Mark is captain.
Same thing.
Not to someone's ego, Mark.
Another C move. Mark has performed 3 C moves so far in his routine. Looks like he could score 7.
If he doesn't perform a C move as well, but still performs an A move very well, will he get the same credit?
The C moves are generally worth more. If you perform C move, no matter how you do it, you're going to get more credit than an A move. Very nice dismount.
He really stuck that last pass. Once again, Mark Goldman impresses, as he's come to over the years.
Mark is looking at West Virginia for gymnastics after school is at. Very good gymnast.
He's being congratulated by his teammates, as well he should be.
As we await the score for that spectacular performance, the team is settling down, making the strategy for the rest of the meet.
I would have to expect some pretty high scores for Goldman.
Mark has really improved since freshman year.
And I believe the scores are about to come up.
Looks like the judges are conferring. No?
And here come the scores for Goldman.
Mark
A
scored.
7-9 and an 8-2. An excellent performance.
Nice routine for Mark.
Scott, I have
That's
to
an average of-
assume that such a high, high score will definitely get him individual states if it's not already there.
Yeah, Mark is already qualified, but this routine just adds a little bit to his ego. He's doing very well tonight.
It's an average of 8.05, which puts him in solid first place.
Up there for West is Jong Lee. Jong's a senior. He's been doing gymnastics for 4 years, and I think he's one of the best West has in the floor exercise.
He took a little step back there on that first pass, but otherwise it was very solid.
And it looks like we have an interview here with the winner of that spectacular score.
Say a few words.
Mark, let's have a few of your comments on that 8.0 average.
8.05.
8.05.
Get it
Very
right,
nice
Kenny.
routine there, Mark. You really worked hard to get it where you are today.
John Lee is
Just happy that I
really
finally
putting
got
together
an
a
8.
good performance.
I still gotta do a little better, yeah. Clean it up.
Good luck in the rest of the meet and maybe at West Virginia.
He sat down a bit on that last pass, but he's putting together a good performance.
Performing very nice Y scale in the corner. Very solid.
This looks like his final pass. Took a little step back
A
there.
little step. I'll probably get a 10th off for that, but it was really nicely done with a lot of form. Nice job, Mark.
Of course, the moves that he performed there in that last routine were not anywhere near as difficult as what Golden might have done, but he performed them with the same accuracy and solidarity that Golden would have.
Scott, I have a little question about the scoring here. Is it possible that someone in a high school level could actually get a 10 or is that 8 very extremely rare or a 9 possibly?
Well, the judges are high school judges, and the rules are different from national competition. But there hasn't been any 10s. The highest that's been given is a 9.7, received by Greg Williams at Haddon Township. Most we've had at East is a 9.2,
Scores?
and that was Harris Sheckman. Not a lot of high marks are given. It's a very nice routine, scoring a 7.3 and a 7.2.
For an
Very
average of
nice.
7.25, you guessed it.
Qualifies. Here comes Rich Highland for Cherry Hill East.
Rich took quite a few steps back on that one, and he also, I believe, stepped out of bounds. I'm not sure.
Rich usually performs a double full. For a mount, didn't look like he had the rotation for it.
I noticed he's competing barefoot. How many do you think, percentage-wise, of the gymnasts would perform barefoot as opposed to wearing shoes?
Not a lot. It's a lot easier when you're using your feet just without socks on because you get more of the pressure absorbed when you punch off the floor. Rich performed a very nice press out of a V seat. Very nice, Richard.
He looked good on that last little pass. And he goes in for a little scale. Looks for his final pass, possibly. Took a little sit down there, but it was not his final pass. It was a bit solid. Backhand spring and a back flip, and he really performed that very well. Very, very solid routine, performing some very difficult exercises. He did it with some good.
Very nice routine by
Very
Richard
solid.
Highland. His team congratulates him.
And the scores for Rich should be coming up momentarily. And here they are. An 8.0 and an 8.2 for an average of 8.1.
We've been seeing some very
Excellent, excellent
We're
scores.
seeing some spectacular performances tonight, and it's a treat for us broadcasters and the viewers alike.
Next event they're going to do will be pommel horse.
I'd like to say something right now about the West's achievement in the pommel horse in the past. Tonight we have the absence of Jay Kaufman, who is a junior at West. He's been doing the pommel horse as his main event for the past couple of years, and he got sick earlier this week. He's been out all week, and I think it might hurt their performance. And East can take a nice lead here if they capitalize on Jay's absence.
Scott, give us some insight on the pommel horse competition. Is it as difficult as a floor exercise, or is it all relative to the person?
Pommel horse is really difficult to stay up on. Most of the moves, when done correctly, you have to lean over the horse. Most of the guys don't swing circles, and the guys who do have a little bit of trouble staying on the horse. But East and West have been competing on this event. I don't know. Last year's meet was pretty good on pommel horse. See if they can do it again this year. Up now is Mark Thorpe. Mark put this routine together. He's working very hard. He's a junior.
From personal experience, I realized that to do this event, it takes an incredible amount of arm strength.
And it takes a credible amount of courage, because you could risk a very serious injury up on that pommel horse.
Short, sweet, and subtle routine. He was a bit shaky. That most likely is not his best event. And the scores do not look like they're going to be very high. A 1-0 and a 1-0 for a, you guessed it, average of 1-0.
Come to think of it, this is Mark's first meet on the event pommel horse. Mostly he works the others. Up now is Alex Franco. There's a move I was talking about, a circle.
That was a very nice move, a very graceful move, I might add.
Sets off
He
first.
just spun off the pommel there. Fairly solid there.
What an interesting dismount.
I guess you could call it the Franco butt spin dismount. Very nicely performed.
a la break dancing.
We'll await the scores for him.
Looks like there aren't too many competitors for West, seeing that 2 East competitors have already gone. In fact, another East competitor is about to go.
Scores are for Alex Franco with 3-0 and a 2-0 for an average of 2.5.
That's Alex's highest score so far in pommel horse. Yeah, Steve Cobb. Yeah, Ari Goldstein's up, another East competitor. I see what Adam was talking about, that without Jay, West really doesn't have a lot of guys competing on the pommel horse tonight. Since Jay's not. Ari is performing what they call a United States Gymnastics Federation team within the Class 3 level.
Scott, considering that team, is Class 3 the lowest level, or the highest, or medium, or what?
Well, again, it goes this way, it's a lot easier. Class 1 is the most difficult. It usually works from Class 5 to Class 1, and then Junior Elite. Junior Elite is like a junior national team.
Mm-hmm. And when does one, like, I guess, mature out of the junior status? Is it whenever his skills are better, or is it a certain age?
It's mostly the skills. You can perform at any age.
Okay.
Scores for Ari Goldstein are a 3-4 and a 3-8 for an average of 3.6. He had a 6-1 average on the floor. That obviously was a much stronger event for him. And now with a competitor from Cherry Hill West, turn it over to Adam.
Looks like there's going to be a change. Looks like Steve Calabrese thought he was up next, but it looks like it's going to be Nate Held. Looks like some confusion over here in the order. No, it's going to be Zhang Li. Looks like Wes got to get their order together over here.
Is there a penalty for going out of the order, such as in baseball?
Most of the order is just made up in any particular. The judges don't have the order, so it doesn't matter. They don't know who's up anyway.
Zhang Li had a nice run in the floor exercise. Let's see how he does here. the pommel horse.
A little shaky there.
Looks
Well,
like he
a
was
lot
doing
shakier.
that butt spin move over there.
Well, you have to see that Zhang Li has got a lot of body weight support, and his arms probably aren't as built up as much as his legs, and perhaps he might not even have been in this event, but there's some absence of some West's competitors, so he has to fill in the space as well as he can.
I'm sure that was not as strong as he would have liked it to be. But there are other events, so stay tuned.
And the horse is extremely difficult, so I could sympathize with him.
Yes.
Most of the routines you have to have a lot of upper body strength.
Scores coming up do not look fairly high, and they are 2.6 and a 2.2 for an average of 2.4.
Kevin Johnson's up for East. Kevin's improved greatly since he started out.
Here's Kevin Johnson. And receiving quite a bit of applause from what should have been a partisan crowd. After all, we are in Cherry Hill West's home gymnasium.
Well, Cherry Hill West hasn't really been, not that they're not supportive of all their athletic teams, but they haven't, gymnastics is not one of the sports they really come out and, go for entertainment. Basketball, I'd say the football games are more well attended.
Seems though that with the loss about 4 or 5 years ago of Kerry Cunningham and Bob Kane, Ken Hockenberry, that the team, well, is digressed sort of, just like East team has too with the loss of our seniors.
Johnson got off pommel a bit shaky, but he should get some pretty decent scores. Receiving congratulations from Cherry Hill East coach Lou Frank.
Adam, as I'm looking at the benches there, I don't see that many West competitors. Is it lack of interest in the student body to go for gymnastics, or is it injuries, or what's the case?
The way I think it is in all sports is that East High School itself has about 2,600 people attending. West has almost 1,600. I think East can basically go for more elite competitors. They have more of a selection to choose from, and therefore they can get better competitors. West basically almost, I'm not saying they're not selective, but West, almost anybody who wants to go out for a sport will get on the team. Whether they compete or not is up to the coaches, but basically they will get on the team, and in many cases, if there's an injury or something like that, they'll have to be used. Right now we're seeing Nate Held in the middle of his routine.
Scores for the last competitor were 3.2 and 2.7 for a composite of 2.95.
Was that butt spin we were talking about dismount?
Nate Held finishes a sloppy routine and will await the scores. In response to your question about the attendance, also tonight the Mr. Cherry Hill West competition is taking place in the auditorium, so maybe many of the people who would normally come out and support the team are there being entertained.
Adam, I'm shocked you're not part of that competition.
Up now for Cherry Hill East is Richard Highland.
Looks like the judges are conferring about
Another
the score.
conferral.
Conferring only takes place when the scores are over 1 point apart. Are you already established that? Okay.
We had established.
All right.
Thank you anyway.
Or reestablish it.
Establishment is something that we take pride in. Scores are a 2.5 and a 3.0 for a composite of
This looks
2.75.
like it might be a good meet for Richard. Richard's a really erratic gymnast and hasn't been doing too well, but last meet he did well. Let's see if he can keep up that pace this meet.
For both schools, I noticed that the scores are really quite low. Is this an event that's really not taken too seriously or too competitively by the competitors?
Well, most of the moves, as I said, C's and B's and A's are really difficult to come by on the pommel horse. Only the skilled and higher competitive gymnasts know how to do B's and C's, whereas the lesser ones do whatever they can. Nice routine by Richard, a little bit sloppy.
A lot of
but
it
he should
sloppy.
score.
He came off that thing very fast, and it's very easy to get yourself injured with those.
And as he's conferring with Coach Frank, he seems to be very upset and dissatisfied with that performance, and I don't blame him.
And Steve Calabrese is putting some chalk on his hands, getting ready to go. Steve Calabrese it looks like, at least he thought he was initially supposed to go first, but it looks like he'll be rounding out the competition.
Scores are being rearranged, and they end up being a 5.5 and a 6.3 for a composite of 5.9. and that's one of the highest scores so
A
far.
bit overscored on his routine as it was a little sloppy, but it was a nice routine. As you could say, when a gymnast is overscored, they receive a birthday present.
Up now, Steve Calabrese has a tough time with the mount, and he's got a lot of weight. He also is probably one of the heavier gymnasts on the West team, and he's having a tough time up there. But as being the all-around competitor, he's got to do whatever he can on this.
Well, that could not have tickled. This is somewhat of a dangerous event, especially
Adam,
larger.
in response to your comment about Calabrese, about being an all-around player, and being poor in pommel horse, I think that is admirable. Going out there, doing every event for the team. I think us broadcasters should commend him
commendation on my part.
As well as the home viewers.
as well.
I must add that
Scores are
due to
fairly
my
low for Steve, though.
absence during this meet, most of the places, 6 places, have been filled in by gymnasts who have just been working. So I'd like to commend those gymnasts who are trying out tonight.
Scores for Steve are a 2.8 and a 2.6 for a composite of 2.7, and that about rounds it up for the events in the pommel horse, and we will now move to the rings.
I want to make a little comment on the rings. It's another event which requires very, very good upper body strength, and let's talk to our resident gymnast in the booth to give us a little more insight on that.
Well, East Ring team has gotten a lot better. The strength difficulty has increased tremendously. We have a few of the gymnasts who work crosses, and the strength, most of it is a lot of swinging, and we have a few of the gymnasts tonight who might be performing crosses. For those of you who don't know what a cross is, it's a lowering down with the arms directly out.
I'd imagine it takes very extremely strong shoulders and pecs and everything, basically.
Most of the strength is developed by gymnasts who do a lot of upper body weightlifting. Weightlifting isn't a main concern of the gymnasts. Most of it is endurance and conditioning, which they do on the regular equipment.
I notice, especially when I personally take part in the rings, that it causes a lot of wear and tear on the skin of your hands. So I personally have a few calluses to show. What do the gymnasts use to protect their hands on the events, such as the high bar and the parallel bars and the rings, to protect their hands from wear and tear and calluses and blisters, etc.?
Most of the time they order grips from GMR, and the grips help to protect the hands. They have what called on high bar and rings as a dowel, which locks around the piece of equipment, so their chance of ripping off the event, letting go, flying to your head is reduced tremendously.
We're now awaiting the start of the event for the rings, and it looks like an Eastern is up first.
Looks like Dean Johnson is up for East. Dean has really improved. Dean performs a cross. I don't know if he's going to do it today. Performs a kip up. A little weak there. Forward roll. He's got a little bit of swing, which the judges, if it increases, will take off tenths for.
Got it up
Very
and
nice. Kills the swing. Does an L seat. Front uprise, very nice move. Very nice dismount, stuck it. Very nice, Dean.
He really landed very well on that dismount.
Very, very good. I just question the difficulty in that routine, though, Scott. Is it A, B, or C, or B plus?
Well, there were some moves that were repeated a couple times, and the judges take off for repetition. But basically, he had the full A requirement and 1 or 2 Bs. The routine was nice, and it was done well with the difficulty that it is. She scored pretty well.
I think so also. And here are the scores. And he did not score very well. A 3-0 and a 3-3. And our statistician, Mark Shankin, will try to figure that out for us math illiterates.
3.15 average.
Looks like we have a West gymnast up now.
They do
Adam,
teach us stuff
would you
in
like
the
to comment
schools.
for us on this gymnast?
Well, I don't remember him being on the team last year from what I remember, but I don't know. We'll just have to see what he can do. He can prove to the public that he's got what it takes right now.
He got it into a very nice verted hang, and he struggles to get it up.
Very nice.
He really had to struggle to get up into that LC. Bit shaky there also. took one large step forward on the dismount, but otherwise a fairly solid routine. Should get him some half-decent scores. Enough to keep him into it. Although the scores were surprisingly low for the first competitor.
Looks like Ari Goldstein's going to go up next on rings.
Scores are 3-0 and a 2-7 positive.
Seems like the judges are
2.85.
Seems like the judges are being very stringent on allotting points to these gymnasts. I think they're good performances, but obviously the judges don't.
It's not a matter of good or bad performance, it's a matter of difficulty that you have in your routine. All right, that's very nice. He does a shoot to shoulder stand.
Are the judges also looking for how much the rings shake or things like that?
By the amount of swinging back and forth of the rings, judges can take up to 5/10 off of a routine.
Goldstein
Very nice
really
dismount.
stuck that dismount. An excellent routine.
Seems like the East crowd approves of it also, with mothers and fans alike enjoying that.
Scores for Goldstein are 4.3 and a 3.9 for a composite of 4.1.
Puts Ari in first place right now.
That it does. That it does.
Nate held up right now for Cherry Hill West. I believe he had a good run in last year's meet, and we'll see how much he's improved over this past year.
Do you think his routine will be up to par to last year's routine, Adam?
Well, we hope so. I believe West really wants to try to get some points here in the ring competition after basically East dominating the pommel horse.
I noticed that at the Devils Classic this year, West did not attend. Was that due to a lack of gymnasts?
Yeah, I believe so. I think that's also a reason why. I believe that's also a reason why East has been getting lots of new equipment and West hasn't. West hasn't really seen a real strong interest in gymnastics, so they figured to divert sport funds to other sports where there's more interest.
Adam, you think it would be possible for West to gain good gymnasts with a lot of Cherry Hill students given the option of either going to East or West?
Just before he answers that very important question, a 3.2 and a 2.5 for a composite.
Up now is Waldo. His nickname, Mark Waldman's up. Mark does a nice routine here.
East coach Lou Frank spotting, of course, as he will be for everybody.
Mark does a very nice mount. The rings look fairly still as Mark gets up to do his dislocate. Very nice move, a shoot shoulder stand.
That obviously puts a lot of pressure on the shoulders, that dislocate and inlocate move.
Yeah, I can tell you from past experience that it does. Oh, Mark does a nice dismount, almost getting caught up in the rings.
Now there really isn't much.
Scores for last competitor were 4.4 and a 4.3 for a composite of 4.35. Up now is a competitor for West, so we're going to hand it on over for Adam because he knows more about West than we do.
I hope so. I should. I guess I go to this school. I believe Steve Calabrese, the all-around competitor up there. He's been working on his arm strength. I think it showed through there. he really can't concentrate on the rings because being an all-around competitor, he's got a lot of time for every area. But I think we saw a good performance by Steve, and this is his last year, and it's probably his last match with West. I mean, for East, so he really wants to show him what he can do.
It was somewhat surprising that the last competitor, Mark Ullman, only got a composite of 4.35, and it looks like Steve's going to get scores somewhere near that, comparable too.
It seems Alex Franco's up next. East has really struggled with the loss of a few very good gymnasts my freshman year, and they're working really hard to recover to get back where they were.
Scott, as I recall, now graduate Ken Service. Was he? What I heard, wasn't he one of the best on the rings? Is he a great loss to the program?
Ken was a very good gymnast. He went to individual states, which is, I guess you could say, everyone's dream in high school gymnastics. But the team has recovered since then, and looks like they're going to go really far this year. Alex performs a very nice straddle well. That's what I'm talking about, uniqueness and originality.
Scores for last competitor were a 4.1 and a 3.4 for a composite of 4.45. His dismount there was fairly solid. He took one little step back. That'll be a little bit of a discount.
It's a very nice routine for Alex. Being an all-around gymnast as well, Alex has improved greatly since his freshman year.
We'll await the scores from him in just a moment. Judges seem to be taking quite a while to get the scores in. But we got all night, folks. Scores look fairly comparable to what most are getting. And we see a 4.6 coming up. It is a 4.6 and a 4.8 for a composite of 4.7.
That's very nice for Alex. It's the highest he's scored, but still didn't qualify, but there's still a few more meets.
What's it take to qualify?
You must score a 5.0 on all the events except for floor, which you need a 6, and vault, with which you need an 8.
Up now for West is John Lee. John probably the strongest of the West competitors in the rings, and in order for them to get some kind of mark on the sheet, John's got a lot of pressure on him right here.
Has John's performance improved greatly since last year? Have you noticed any changes in the way he works out now?
Well, I believe he messed up. He got his legs caught in the rope part of the rings there, but I believe he's a senior too, and he's been a leader for the team over the years, and I think this last year he's become more and more serious about it. He knows what his position on the team is, and hopefully he can pull off what he needs to do.
He really stuck that dismount there pretty well. You should get some fairly high scores for this. Of course, as Adam said, John Lee should be one of the higher scorers for West. Of course, Goldman should have been one of the higher scores for East, and he only ended up getting 4.35, so we'll see what Lee musters.
Up next is Richard Hyland. Richard, on rings, is a very erratic gymnast, but if he puts his routines together correctly, he can score a high 8 or a 9.
And as Scott has said,
coming up now.
Scott and Rich happen to be the best rings competitors in East. And now we have the scores, a 4.0 and a 3.1 for an average of about 3.5.
3.45.
4.5. Excuse me.
See, when Kenny gets the scores, he doesn't get it right, so you guys are going to have to count on me to get these scores
Rich
right.
mounts with an L seat, muscle up, now performs his swinging skills. Each ring routine must consist of a swinging C move. Rich's routine is swinging, therefore it is conceivable the judge will take up to 5/10 on each swing back and forth. Looks like Richard's going to set up for a double back move. Yes, a nice double back dismount to a stick.
He got the flips just right. He took one little step forward on the landing, but all in all, a very tough move
And
for him
his
to perform, and he
teammates-
did it very well.
And his teammates really like that dismount also, and they're congratulating him. And we expect a very, very, very high score.
And the crowd, of course, gave him their full approval. And it looks like that about wraps it up for the rings.
Not to underscore West's performance on the rings, but I think Richard Hyland's routine was by far the best routine performed tonight, performing the only double back out of all the gymnasts.
And with that being the end of the rings, we are now halfway through the East versus West Boys Gymnastics meet. Up next, the next event will be the vault.
I think they might take an intermission here. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's right. We have to pause for a break here while they set up, and the camera crews, recharge their batteries or whatever camera crews do nowadays. Electric, whatever. So we'll take a break, and we'll see you in the second half.
This is Cable 18, the Cherry Hill Public Schools television station.
Richard Island, very nice performance thus far in the meet. Your ring routine is very nice, as you performed a nice double back. How do you think you're doing so far?
I think I'm doing pretty good, but I think the scoring's a little high, but I think I still pull through the routines, and I should do well in the rest of the events.
Do you think the judges are going to be giving a few birthday presents, as we say, this meet?
Oh yeah, it's Christmas time.
Well, the meet's looking pretty good so far, as East and West have been competing head-to-head. What do you think of the other East gymnast performance?
They're doing pretty good. Mark got an 8-1 on the floor, and they did pretty good on rings too.
What do you think about the other gymnasts, such as the gymnasts to perform in the meet?
They're doing all right. They aren't as experienced as the rest of us, but they're doing pretty good.
Okay, thank you very much. That was Richard Highland for Cherry Hill East Gymnastics team.
Starting here for the second half after a brief 10-minute intermission. We're going to start off with our first event, the vault. And after the first half, East is in the lead with 49.8 total points. West with only 36.8.
Up now for East is Mark Waldman. Looks like Mark will probably perform a front handspring skill, which is worth an 8.8. Mark takes a giant step forward. He should get 3 or 4 tenths taken off. The most he could score would be an 8.4.
Is dismount a major part of scoring landing, landing, is that a major part of scoring?
Every step you take within gymnastics after you land is a tenth to 2 tenths off. In other words, most of Mark got a full point and a half taken off because he took a giant step and he didn't get that much distance off the horse. Up now is Rich Highland.
Very good landing there.
He stuck it pretty well there, just took a tiny little step forward with both feet.
As you'll notice, when scoring comes up, he won't receive an 8 because he didn't hit the end of the horse and he didn't get that much height on the dismount.
He got a 7.6 and a 7.4 for a composite of 7.5. I didn't catch the scores for what Mark got. Did anybody catch them?
7.4. Up now is David Cliff. 7.4, 7.3. Here comes David. David performed a very nice vault, hitting the end and getting a little bit of post-flight and pre-flight during the move.
Up now will be John Lee for West. I'm told by Joe Del Campo that he's one of the people to watch in this event.
8.0 and a 7.9. Positive 7.95, and those are the highest scores so far for the vault.
Very nice vault by Dave Cliff.
Is this basically the highest scoring event on the average for out of all the events?
This is where the gymnasts pick up their all-around scores. Most of them score 7s and 8s.
Didn't look like he got as much extension. He didn't get that far out on that vault.
A little close to the horse. The judge will take off a couple tenths for that.
Could probably be pretty dangerous. You could hurt your neck. You ever seen that happen to anybody?
In fact, I have. A gymnast hit the very front of the horse and landed on the back of the horse.
And what kind of injury did he sustain? Well, you can tell us after I say his score, 7.5 and a 7.3 for an average of 7.4.
Sustained a little back injury. Up now is Ari Goldstein. In fact, some gymnasts run into the horse and miss the board altogether. Here comes Ari.
He stuck it very well. An excellent vault for Ari Goldstein as he continues to impress people here at the East versus West Boys Gymnastics meet tonight. He has just been almost flawless in all the events he's participated in. And he will receive 2 8.1s for a composite. Of course, you guessed it, 8.1. That is the top so far.
That'll put Ari into individual states his first year in high school. Doing very, very well.
And he is the future for East Gymnastics team.
Up now for West, Nate Held. Oh, by the way, I'd just like to mention that John Lee and Steve Calabrese are co-captains of the gymnastics team. I was in error when I just said Steve Calabrese was.
Took just one little step forward there. He should get some fairly decent scores. I don't know if it's going to be enough to beat Goldstein, and West has got to get some serious points here in the second half of the meet. They are down by 13 points, exactly.
I'd like to comment to Adam that I saw the scores for last week's meet. West scored a considerable 90 points total, increasing very much each year.
And the scores are 8-0 and 7-9.
Yeah, that's
for
true.
Adam, 7-9-5. And yes, he's 5/10 away from making individual states. It must be very frustrating.
That was Alex Franco.
Oh, he
Put his
sat
butt
down a bit there.
That'll be 5/10 off. Adam, would you like to comment on that?
On the sit down? I sat down quite well, if you ask me. But what I wanted to say before was that 2 years ago at the East-West meet, East basically doubled West's score. Then the following year, I think East won by only about a small margin of about 10 points. So I think we're seeing a considerable amount of improvement in West over the years versus East. And East is probably one of the top-ranked teams in the state.
They took off quite a few points for that sit-down, apparently, as he only got a 7.0 and a 6.8 for a composite of 6.9, and that's quite a bit lower than the average that we've been seeing for the vaults tonight.
Up now for West, Steve Calabrese, one of the captains of the West team.
He stuck it very well, a very good landing for Steve Calabrese, and that should get him some considerably higher scores.
This is Steve's best event.
Looks like that'll about wrap up the vaulting scores. We'll wait for Steve's score here.
I think we should point out to the audience that the difficulty of sticking the landing, because once you go off that little ramp there, you have so much momentum going with you. It's quite hard to just stand still right after that.
Judges are conferring, and
Looks like they're going to have a
between-
conferral. There must be a point difference, which means that he must have scored an 8 or a 6. I like to point out that even though I didn't participate in last year's West meet due to my injury, that West is looking very well this year. It looks like they're going to go places.
Yeah, well, we hope so, and then perhaps maybe they'll get the better equipment that they want and things like that.
so they're setting up the mats for the parallel bars, the next event. Scott, is that event that East fairly dominates, would you say?
East has been doing very, very well on parallel bars, and the scores have increased tremendously.
And the score for Calabrese just now, an 8-0 and a 7-5, an average of 7.75.
You see, one gymnast named Dan Goldstein, who we call the Muscle Man, who has been doing gymnastics for 5 weeks and has already qualified on the event. Dan is a very, very good gymnast, works out very hard.
Do you find that a lot of people that try out for the East team are naturals?
Most of them, Dan especially, because he's very, very strong, as you can see when you'll see him go up.
So, Scott, the people on the gymnastics team, the naturals, basically the kids who like swang from the chandelier at home and did flips off the couch and just need an outlet for that rambunctiousness.
To
Ari
comment
Goldstein.
upon that, that was me.
Ari Goldstein won that event, the vault, and he continues to impress people, as I said, after he done his very impressive vault, in which he scored an 8.1.
I guess you could say I was one of those chandelier types who used to bounce off my mom's bed and do backflips, but it takes a lot of work to do well. Ari's up now for East on the parallel bars.
Is this one of Ari's better events?
Yeah, you could say that. He's worked very, very hard on this.
I seem to find that just about every event is Ari's best event. And he sets himself up.
Does a glide kick.
And a shoulder stand.
Does his L seat, which every gymnast must have a press in their routine.
Ooh! And he fell off, and that could have been very, very dangerous to his health.
Good thing he is not injured. Specifically. He's having trouble getting back up now.
He came very close to really damaging his shoulder there as he just slipped trying to spin around the bars off a handstand.
And he's having a little trouble getting started again. I think maybe he did indeed injure that shoulder.
He stuck the landing, though.
It's very hard for a gymnast after he breaks up within the routine to get the continuity back because he's really frustrated with what he did. What they have to do is put it back in the past. As you can see, Ari hitting the bars, he couldn't regain the consciousness of the routine. And the rest of the team was had a few flaws in it.
I'm sure
that's all right, though.
Yeah, I'm sure the momentum of the competitor is greatly reduced, and the scores for Ari Goldstein are not impressive. He could only muster a 2.8.
Well, to tell you the truth, he messed up.
2.8.
Once he fell off the bar and then jumped back up and then hopped down again, he received 1 point off what he should have gotten. Up next is the man I was talking about, Dan Goldstein. As you can see by his nickname, Muscle Man, Dan is very, very strong. He performed a straight body press planche.
Ari averaged a 2.8 in his last event, and that's the lowest he scored in any of the events he's done so far.
Straight body planche presser, that's a very difficult move. That's a D move. You don't see many of those in high school. Put his hands down now.
His dismount there was a bit shaky, but apparently it was a very difficult move as he flipped all
That
the way
was
over
a
the bar.
great performance. I mean, I cannot believe that Goldstein here has only been doing gymnastics for 5 weeks. He looks like someone who's been doing it since he's 3 years old. The muscles, and he's short, and he's built for gymnastics. And that body planche and D move, that thing is unreal. Success story.
I noticed that as the competitors are doing the events, that East Coast Lou Frank is around manipulating the mats. They get on with what was used to do the vault. And once they get off, he moves the vault thing away, and he puts in a mat to protect them from falling off.
Dan's routine is very nicely constructed. It was constructed by a few of the gymnasts here, and if we hadn't talked him into it, he'd be playing football right now. But his brother's been in it, so I guess he got into it because he liked it. He likes to bounce around on the trampoline and stuff.
Scores for him are not as impressive as we might have thought. A 3.2 and a 2.7 for a composite of a 2.95.
Scott, what year is Dan in school?
Dan is a senior. He's going to go off to the Marines next year.
They're looking for a few good men, I'm sure. They'll find one in him.
Yeah, up now is Chang Lee, who is supposed to be quite gifted in this event, and let's see what he can do here.
He looked a bit shaky as he flipped around to a straddle.
Yes, well, it's hard to regain your composure once you have a little slip up, but Chang's trying to hold his own up here.
His dismount was fairly ordinary, but he stuck it, and he won't get any taken off for the dismount. Just not really spectacular, you might say.
Is there a set height or width for the parallel bars, or can the gymnastics adjust it as they see fit?
Well, the bars score.
The scores are 2.3 and a 2.0.
For a composite of 2.15.
The bars are set at a regulation height of one above 1,700, which is the height that the bars can be at. And they set the width by putting the elbow in between the bars and stretching the hand out all the way. Now is Alex Franco from East.
He uses a little different approach to the bars, opposed to using the little trampoline.
He presses up to a handstand nicely. And he's performing a very solid routine so far.
Put his hand down. That'll be 5/10 off.
The reason, basically, I could see that he put his hand down there is because he fell down on the wrong part of the mat, on the edge where the mat comes up from the other mat. And that is something that really should be taken into effect. The judges might not take off as many points, considering he did put his hand down because he put his foot down on the wrong part of the mat.
Up to that, the routine is basically flawless. Very nicely done.
Extremely.
Seems that the competitors are always tightening the bars after. Can they get loosened after a few competitors go? Is it?
The bars take a lot of pressure when you swing up and down on them, so it loosens very easily.
Okay, up next for West. Oh, well, the judges are conferring on the score right now. And up next will be a competitor from West, Captain Steve Calabrese.
Is this one of his better events?
Yeah, I believe the vault and the high bar and the parallel bars are really strong events.
And one of the scores just appeared. It's a 5-1, and the other one is still being figured in, I guess.
Maybe the judges are, in
And here we
fact,
go,
taking
a
into effect.
5-4 and a 5-1
Alex.
for 5-2-5.
Maybe the judges actually are taking into effect the fact that he put his hand down only because he put his foot down on the wrong part of the mat off of his dismount. And that's a bit unfair, you might say. Here's Steve Calabrese. And Adam?
Steve Calabrese doesn't look like he'll be using the little thing from the vault to mount.
Gets up to him, shoulder stand
So
nicely.
you can sound like more like a gymnast. That's a vaulting board.
We do that.
What would we do without Scott's expertise? I don't know.
On his dismount there, he did the exact same dismount where the last competitor had fallen because he put his foot on the wrong part of the mat. I've seen only one really spectacular dismount. The others have just been kind of flops off the bar with your body totally extended.
Yeah, it was not a real complex routine, but basically he did some simple moves and he didn't really make any mistakes. And so we'll see how the judges score that.
Scores for Steve Calabrese, I could see, are a 3-6 and
Up next will be Mark Waldman, captain of the East team.
it's a 3-6 and
3-9.
and a 3-9 for a composite of 3.75. Mark Goldman now up for Cherry Hill East. And this should be a good, strong event for Reese because Goldman appears to be good at just about everything, especially considering that Ari Goldstein did not really perform this event to his best.
Mark's nickname is Waldo.
And I do believe his last name is not Goldman, but Waldman.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Mark performed a straddle cut catch, bending his arms a little bit. Performing the Stutz.
He
Looks
was-
like he's going to do a front flip dismount.
Oh,
He
took
was
a
sick
hold.
in that landing there.
He put his knee and his hand down in the dismount, and his full routine was quite a bit shaky. His
like
hand
he
didn't really look like he was
5 tenths off
connecting.
for that, yeah.
His hand didn't really look like he was connecting with the bar when he was slipping around. He does not look pleased with that routine. He's giving one of those sarcastic smiles towards Coach Lou Frank.
Up next will be a competitor from West, Chang Lee, and he will be using the vaulting board as Scott pointed out the proper term for it.
And a 5-0 and a 4-8. And Waldo, the captain of a gymnastics team for East, gets a composite of 4-9.
Are John Lee and Chang Lee?
Yes,
related?
they are related.
I was just wondering about that.
Yes, sure.
Are they twins?
No, they're not. I don't think they're twins, but it looks like gymnastics runs in the family.
Scott, I was looking at John Lee. He's competing in classes. Is that some kind of hindrance to him? Is that kind of like specially made, or what's the story on it?
He might have a strap to hold him on in the back. Either that or they're secured tightly to his face.
Well, it looks like he's giving a pretty solid performance now.
Oh, his dismount really did not have exactly all the technicality that you might say.
Yes, but Mark, if he did hit that, it would have been very, very impressive. It looked like a little more difficult than that straight body flop that we've been seeing before.
It would have been a spectacular dismount should he have
Straight body
landed.
flop, as you say, is called a Wendy dismount. It's done basically with a class 3 routine.
He
Looked like
landed.
he was trying to do a front 1 1/4 to his face dismount.
He landed on
Well,
his.
I really don't think we should laugh at the competitors because I don't know. I know Scott, you're probably pretty good, but as for the rest of us here, I don't. I'd hate to see how we would end up. So.
He ended up landing on his backside there, but that's nothing against him because the amount of skill and expertise it takes to just even get up on those parallel bars is really quite amazing.
Up now for East will be Richard Highland. And the scores are 5-1 and looks like a 5-4 it might be. 4-3 for a composite of what?
As our statisticians are working out the composite.
5.43 will come out to be a 4.3.
4-5, we believe.
No, it's not a 4 or 5.
4-6. 4-6.
Archie performed a V-seat on one bar. Now he does a nice press handstand.
Guys are nuts.
Pirouette. Stutz, looking very nicely. Routine is solidly based. Stuck that dismount.
That was very nice.
Excellent there.
That was called the Richard dismount.
And it seems like that John Lee before was trying to do something similar to that, but this time Highland hit it.
With a half twist, I must add.
He had to add that. Yes, he did. We're winning the scores.
How was West Sidebar improved over the years?
From what I was just talking with some of the members of the West team, and basically the person to watch from West team who seems to be dominant is Steve Calabrese. So he'll be basically supporting the West effort in that event.
And the scores are up. We have a 7-7 and an 8-1. Very, very impressive performance and the highest score yet. And it will be the highest score because we're moving on to the high bar. And a composite of a 7-9. Is that qualifying for individual states?
Yes, it does, and that happens to tie school record that Richard and I both have. All right, Goldstein will be our first competitor. This might be one of ours weaker events. Shoulder surgery.
Or apparently seems to be okay after that mean spill that he took on the parallel bars. And of course, if he's going to compete on the high bars, then he must really be okay because there's a lot of pressure on the shoulders and the upper arms in this event.
Looks like, see if Ari can regain his composure after a mean parallel bar spill. Forms a free hand. Looks like he's going to do the class 3 high bar routine as well.
So far, he looks to be very solid on this event.
Very nice routine. Not as difficult as you will see. Very nicely done.
His dismount was just about all right. He took one little step forward, but just about the rest of his event was basically flawless.
In this event, will we find the coaches or will we find someone always there to spot him? Is there a large danger factor in this event?
Due to the high bar being very slippery and the chalk not holding as well, just see on other bars, coach has to be there at all times so that the gymnast won't rip off even though they're wearing grips.
Yeah, and that happened during the break. We had some people practicing, and we had a few spills already, so we hope it doesn't happen in the competition.
And the scores were 3-4 and a 2-6.
For a composite score of 3.0.
Evan Aramount is now taking the high bar as Coach Frank helps him up.
See what Evan can do.
His legs are a little bit apart there. They'll probably take off for that. Gets a giant swing.
Looks like Evan's going to do a very, very, very short routine.
Giant swing.
He's off the bar already because of a mess up within his front giants. What he did was he did a kip and didn't make it over, so he had to hop off and finish his routine very quickly.
Scores for him are a 2.8 and a 3.2 for a composite of 3.0. Scores for this event have been relatively low so far.
Adam, would you like to comment upon this gymnast? Do you know much about him?
Michael Collins, like I said, I don't know. I don't know why, but I don't know if he was on the team last year. I just don't seem to remember him. But I was told. I really don't know. I was told during the break.
Oh, very neat move of fin and stem. Very unique.
I thought that was a little bit unorthodox. I thought he was making a mistake there.
No, it's a very hard move. It looks really nice. Now go on, Adam, you were saying?
But I'm told that he's strong in this event. Steve Calabrese is really the main competitor, but I'm told that he's also quite good, as we saw right here. He's doing quite well.
Very nice routine. A little close to the bar with that dismount. He might get a couple tenths off. As you saw, Nick DiProspero hurt himself from our East team. Well, maybe he didn't see it, but he landed on the high bar because he pulled in on his dismount.
He stuck it pretty well.
I noticed that the coach of West helped him over with his dismount and the flip. He used his arm to propel him. Is that legal or what?
That would call for a 5/10 deduction for the coach touching him.
Okay, we'll see if it was worth it. See if he gets a high enough score. And the scores are a 3.0 and a 2.8 for a composite of 2.9.
Up now for East will be Alex Franco.
I believe
Why don't you critique this routine?
I don't know. Well, Alex looks strong so far. He's doing a few giants,
His dismount,
and I don't think that was his
Seems like
dismount.
Well, that'll be 5/10 deduction there.
his dismount was quite early and it looked a bit unorthodox.
I wanted to comment before on the fact that the coach helped the West competitor with his dismount. I think it's calculated beforehand that they feel that if he was not helped, the point deduction from the mess up would have been more than.
Speaking about mess ups here, Scott, you think it's something to do with the condition of the bar or what? I saw you fixing it before the meet. Tell me about it.
There really isn't that chalked up, which means it's a very slippery base to it. The problem with the giants is that your hands feel like they're going to rip off the bar, and it's kind of dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. Alex is having a kind of rough time as a setup for a dismount now.
So I imagine that the competitors towards the end of this competition will have a little more advantage because more chalk would accumulate.
Yeah,
His foot apparently clipped the bar on his dismount as he came off. That's probably pretty
he
dangerous.
pulled in because when you pull in, you're letting go very, very late, and if you're not lucky, you can hit the bar. But he landed a little bit away from the bar, so we won't get that much of a deduction.
Apparently that premature dismount was going to cost him quite a lot as he had come off the bar totally, be chalked, talk it over with Coach Frank, and then get back on again.
Seems to have a 3-3, and the other score is a 4-0. And Mark, what is the composite of that?
3.65.
How does Nate look on high bar there, Adam?
Nate's one of the top three. I think we only have three, so I guess he's one of the top three. But he seemed to do pretty well in it last year, and we'll see how he does this year. I saw Coach Meehan making sure that the bar was tight, everything was okay. Do they have the same effect as after a competitor goes on the parallel bars?
Scott, before you answer that, it seems like the competitor here, a little mess up there, couldn't get over on the bar. Now your answer?
No, there is no wear and tear on the bar itself. They just check it to make sure it's strong, that all the cables are secured tightly.
His dismount was fairly secure there. He stuck it pretty well.
Yeah, but his legs were a little bit spread apart, and that could be deductions.
And the scores don't look relatively
And
high.
scores a 2-5, and let's see what the other one is. And it's risen 1-5 and a 2-5.
2.0.
2.0.
Adam, can you comment? Does Coach Meehan play a big part within the gymnastics? Does he encourage the gymnasts?
Oh, he works out with them. He trains with them. Basically, if he competed, he would, I think, give the real actual competitors a run for their money. So I think he's almost like the role model that everybody tries to fit on the West team.
This is Nick DiProspero. Nick is a senior at our school and a captain also.
I noticed that Nick was walking out of the trainer's office before the bag of ice. Do you know what that injury is?
He was a gymnast I was talking about that landed on the bar, hurt himself as he's going to perform a front giant again. Nick is working very, very hard. He put this routine together this year. His high bar really wasn't a main event of his last year. Now he'll do a dismount.
Looks like he made a bit of a mistake there as he tried to get it up into a full giant, possibly.
It seems that he bent his arms on the way down. Maybe out of panic, or I don't know.
I think he's kind of wary about doing the dismount because he landed on the bar before.
Once
Very,
again-
very close on that, but it was nice.
Once again, you'll notice that the dismount, he took a step back, basically because he landed right in between where the mats come together, and that's obviously going to present a problem. Presented a problem for I believe it was Ari Goldstein on the parallel bars, and now again here on the high bar, and that's going to cost you some deductions, and kind of hurts me inside to see that when you want to see somebody do well. When you want to see somebody do well, and yet just because the pads are there and they could not stretch them
I
all
know,
the way
Mark.
across.
Mark, I'm crying inside also. As the scores come out, we have a 2-7 and a 3-7 for a composite of, let's see, 3.45 possibly.
You risk a very great, chance of hurting yourself if you land in between the mats. Adam, would you like to comment upon this gymnast?
All right, this is John Lee, one of the captains of the West team. We saw some good efforts by him in the vault and the parallel. What's the hell is that? The parallel bars, right? Okay, sorry, I don't know. and he seems to be a strong in this event as well, but not as strong as in other events.
It seems that there's a loud squeaking coming out from his giant toes, and Scott will explain it for us.
It appears that Jung had a death grip, what they call in the bars. He's holding onto the bars so tight that the grips squeak against the metal, and the chalk is then worn off.
It's a good thing he was wearing the protection over that, else he'd be, his hands would just be bones by now.
Not really. It's because the bar doesn't have a lot of chalk, you can swing without chalk on it and still get around a whole routine. Up next, you'll see Richard Highland's score for that was
Scores
4-2
were
and a 3-6, which is a composite of.
And the computer is working fervently to figure out what the composite is.
3-9.
And the computer says a 3-9.
Up now is Richard Highland. His nickname is Dickie.
And
I'm sure it's a term of endearment given to him by the East team.
Richard does a nice vault catch over there.
Rich seems to be also a favorite of those broadcasters here from East, and a crowd pleaser.
And what a crowd we have here tonight.
Richard performs toe on, toe off.
He's looking very solid so far.
Nice move.
Bends his legs in the back, but sticks that dismount.
He
He
really
could
stuck
score a
that
7
landing.
or an 8 on this routine. Very nicely done.
If he scores well on this, he could be a runaway for this competition because people have not been doing very well at this.
I think Steve is the last competitor up next. That'll end the meet.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
The last competitor from West looks like to be Steve Calabrese, and the scores for Rich
Scored here tonight.
4-8.
What did you?
I think the
4-8
judge,
would be very, very under.
underscored him.
Very
Did get
highly
a 4-8,
underscored.
I see.
Conferring now.
Oh, they're conferring. Good thing. I hope it's for Rich's benefit, because I feel it deep inside also.
Are you familiar, Scott, with these judges, or are there many judges? Do they judge everything here in Cherry Hill?
These judges have consistently judged us the last 4 or 5 meets. I'd just like to point out that Mark Waldman had a very nice meet tonight. I'd like to congratulate him. And I'd also like to congratulate Kevin Johnson, who had a nice performance tonight. Congratulations, guys.
Judges are continuing to confer to find out what the scores are. And it looks like they're going to be a
6-0 and a 5-2.
for a composite of
Richard was
6. 5-6.
very, very underscored on that routine. It appears that the judges give birthday presents to some and underscore others.
It really doesn't matter because East is trouncing West right now.
Well,
in
let's
the meet.
not say trouncing now. Let's.
A bit of tension between the broadcasters here.
This is a friendly competition. Please, no wagering. Thank you so
Sounds
much.
like Steve has a death grip on the bar also.
In other words?
He's holding on too tight to the bar and it makes that squeak sound.
I do believe you've been over that.
Yeah, this is basically an East-West rivalry meet. You know, just teams going at it against each other. Should be no arguments. Ooh, front flip to his butt. Too bad, Steve.
That
And
probably
he landed
was-
on his derriere, right on that. And that looked like he really couldn't get the dismount, and he will be penalized for that.
Well, Steve tried a really difficult dismount right
Yes,
there, so I'm sure the judges will give him points just for trying such an incredible feat of physical skills.
And also, he could be worn out from competing in almost every single station here, every single event. And he is a team leader, and he did his best.
Scott, I also noticed that only I see that the larger competitors are doing giant swings and some of the tougher ones. And we see the scores here for Steve Calabrese.
5-1 and a
5-1
4-8.
And a 4-8 for a composite of 4.95.
Steve threw a very nice routine, though. Even though with the 5-10 deduction for his dismount, it seems that he held on too long, therefore couldn't open up in time.
That about wraps it up.
Let's see what the final scores are for the meet.
I think just why don't we just recap what happened? Basically, I think East was slightly dominant over West in just about in every event. Although West had some excellent performances in the vault and in the parallel bars, but East was still able to surmount over the West team.
It's also clearly obvious that the East team is a lot larger in people, and that gives them a clear advantage.
Congratulating both teams who had very nice performances, improving this meet a lot more since last year. Last year's meet was nice. This one seemed a lot better, a lot more skills thrown.
Also, I'd like to say that this East-West rivalry, it looks like it was played out fairly and good.
If you remember that the East team was up by exactly 13 points at half, so now they're just tallying up the scores to find out if East did exactly come out the winner, and I'm sure they did.
Yeah, good points.
They were clearly dominant in this entire match, although Steve Calabrese for West team was backing them up along with a few others. It was very clear that East with Mark Walden
and it seems like the statistician over there by the scoring table is not as good as ours, and it will take them a while to figure out. It seems like
We don't have
comments by the team members.
No.
we have a few of the East team members crowding around us here at the broadcast booth.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get a few words in from them.
Listen if you can.
Anybody, say something.
Dan, about your performance, it seems like you have a problem there towards the end, if I recall. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I kind of forgot everything that I was supposed to do, so I took a lot of intermediate swings and screwed up my routine pretty bad, but I'm happy with it.
I can notice from your accent, you're from Boston. Did you do it? I obviously did gymnastics there, but how'd you get such a physique, you know?
I just played football last year, moved here. They're all changing my accent around a bit, but I just moved here at the beginning of the year, started gymnastics, something there.
Well, good luck rest of the year and in the Marine Corps. And we have the final scores here, I believe. And it's 103.85 for East and 92 for West. Congratulations, Cougars. You won.
East actually does appear the winners.
2 years in a row. And we'd like to wrap it up here. And Scott Trucker, some closing comments.
East performed very well tonight, scoring 103 with the absence of a few of the gymnasts tonight. West also scored well with a 92. This is one of our better routines.
So this is Mark Schenken, freshman. Kenny Bauer.
Kenny Bear.
Same thing.
Hey, Bear.
And Scott Trucker.
And I'm Adam Merton from West, and we'd just like to remind you, we'd like to thank a few of the people that worked on the staff. We have David Hawes here. We also have Chris Zimzak, and we have Mr. Hampson, and we have Mr. Hawes, who just does so much for this network that we couldn't even start to say it. And remember that Cable 18 is the only network that truly cares about you, the home viewer.
So once again, the final score here from the Cherry Hill West Gymnasium. Cherry Hill East Cougars 103.85. Cherry Hill West Lions 92. Cherry Hill East once again the victors.
Good night.
Who can stop
Good
them?
night. Good night from Cherry Hill West.
This is Cable 18, the Cherry Hill Public Schools television station.